incredible individuals, these distinguished people that I'm sharing the stage with. But yeah, hopefully we can have an interactive, fun time here in Nashville.
I think we will.
Let's
and
go.
I'm so happy that you're here to join us, all of you, being able to share your insight. I already told the audience what we're going to be talking about today, so we're going to jump right on into it, okay?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, okay. So
Hang on, where food and drinks at? I don't see no food, no drinks. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry, no, I'm acting up already. I'm already showing out. Okay.
Already.
Okay, we'll do that later. We'll all go out for food and drinks, all on this brother's table. He's got the Gucci. You see him, he's fly. Come on, man, you got it. So yeah, we're gonna stay close to that brother.
You got it. Councilman Tate. Y'all give it up for one more time. Whole lot of power. He said, Love Jones too is coming.
If they pay me.
Let's go, Archbishop.
you might want to do that one for the culture.
For the culture, okay, you're right. I'm something in that space. We're gonna figure that out. We'll talk about that.
Yes, sir.
Well, good. I'm so excited to have all of you because we're talking about something that's super important. Pursuing your passion, especially in a practical world. And so I want to jump right on in. When did you decide, and Larenz, we'll start with you since you're next to me. When did you decide that you were going to pursue passion over everything? It was important for you to just hit go.
I mean, honestly, it started out really early with me being in the entertainment industry. Just something that I just fell in love with. And it was not something that I wanted to pursue. It was something that I sort of kind of got ushered in along with my brothers, LaRon, who's here, my brother Lamar. We came from Chicago to LA, and our parents wanted us to stay, active. They want us to sort of become a part of the, products of our environment because the neighborhood was changing, much like it was in Chicago. And once I got into performing arts, I just felt this was a place for me, to be artistic and to have creative expression and to be able to see, life in a different form and sort of teleport and transport. And that for me was just like very early on, as early as 10, like this is what I wanted to do. And it wasn't until I really became, active as an actor and consistently working, and that came later where the passion really something that, it's like this is what I want to do. And it's not the only thing that I want to do, but it's certainly the thing that drives me for sure.
Yeah. Shabana, what about you?
So much like Larenz, I was kind of like thrown into my industry. It was one of those things where I was kind of pursuing my passion, what I love to do, and then it's almost like I discovered my purpose along the way. And just really trying to change the narrative of someone that looks like me, and where I come from and my background. Statistically, I'm not supposed to be where I am, but I was determined to change that story. So that's kind of like how I became who I am today. Just wanting to really change the narrative of people that look like me, to be honest with you.
I would say, first and foremost, I'm grateful to be a part of this power panel here. These amazing ladies, and of course, Brother Tate, and we'd be remiss if we didn't recognize Miss Tammy Lewis. Come on, give it up. Yes. The vivacious visionary. Give it up for her. For me, I believe, pain was a portal of purpose. 2024 for me marks 24 years being cancer-free. Wow. A lot of people gave up on me, and I was in many cases one of the ones who almost gave up on myself, being diagnosed with stage 4 cancer as a teenager.
Come out.
And so my father not being there, self-doubt, we dealt with imposter syndrome, and stinking thinking that oftentimes keeps you sulking and sinking. And so in that place of what was most painful became purposeful. Yes. To become a speaker, to become an author, to mentor young brothers across the nation. Yes. My program, Boys to Books. And so all of it puts you in a place of humility because you got a second chance at life. Yes. And I think with that opportunity, you have to do something to really propel people forward and to really push people into their purpose. And that's what I'm dedicated to do. I told people this year, my goal is to push you into yours. Yes. And that's what it's all about.
Yes.
Amen.
All right.
Push on, sir. I'm blessed enough to be able to pursue a second passion. My first passion was nursing, and I was able to retire from that. And I still do it though. You never retire as a nurse. Never. But now I get to pursue the passion of speaking and empowering women that are over 50. Because, you know, we have a tendency to think that we're done when we get to 50. We think that I actually retired at 55. So I feel like I'm in my second act. You know, that movie came out right on time. You know, Jennifer Lopez was talking about me, the second act of life. So I get the opportunity to do something that I am passionate about, that's to speak to people, to hang out with great people like this, and to actually take up all those opportunities. I grew up in an era where we were taught to go to work. You know, you go to work, you retire, you take care of your family, you do that. Passion was not even a conversation. So to be able to pursue my passion now, after I've actually done the first passion of working and being able to retire, is absolutely amazing.
You know,
And I'm so grateful.
Yeah, to speak on what you're talking about in terms of that work, and a lot of people go into their workforce and that field or their profession, and there's no passion there. That doesn't mean that you can't have passion in something else, whatever that may be, whether it's something that you've always wanted to do, or dream, or family, whatever that is. The passion never has to stop, you know, if it's not placed in that work. And when we're able to do what we love and, you know, get paid to do it, or at least take care of ourselves and our families, that's always, you know, the way we want to, you know, the ideal way we want to live our lives. But again, the passion never stops, even if it's not a work-related passion. You know what I mean? It just could be just a passion for doing things for other people, or bringing people together, finding ways, as you would say, you mentor and do the things that, you know, that is fulfilling to you. And again, you're right. In a time where people don't really see work as one of those things that, like, that you got to do this, and there's a lot of entitlement today. There's not enough of us, you know, in the new sort of the new era. I'm speaking as a father. I have 4 boys, and I'm like, yo, you know, y'all gotta, you know, understand that there's so many great gifts and so many amazing opportunities you have that so many others did not or don't have. And I don't want to sound like my parents, right? But I'm becoming that person. But mom and dad were right. Moms and pops were really on point, and our grandmothers and our grandfathers were those who really set the foundation and the pathway to make it easier for us. But that doesn't mean you know, that lose that passion, or at least try to find the balance in work and passion.
Right.
I love that. So you've all talked about the things that you're passionate about. But what happened when the practical concerns came into play? When there wasn't enough money in the bank? When you didn't have the right support team, right? When you didn't have the knowledge to move forward and navigate a space? How did you stay focused and kind of grounded when it came to your passion, when those circumstances arose?
Well, I'm gonna jump right to it. As an actor, to the right subject, because oftentimes in the industry of entertainment, there's highs and lows. You know, sometimes it's cyclical. Sometimes it's a circle, like you're doing really well, and then sometimes you're not, right? And in our journey as artists, we're often, as actors in the Hollywood entertainment industry, if you're not doing a stage play, or you're not just doing something locally, you're trying to pursue your passion and to be compensated. As an actor or actress, you're always waiting for other people or gatekeepers to decide, okay, now you can activate what you do. Now you can act. Now I'll hire you for this movie. So when you say, well, I haven't seen you in this movie in a long time, or how come I'm not stepping away from it because I want to? It's just like oftentimes the things that I want to do, I'm not doing it on my terms. Doing it on the terms of other people, right? That make the decision makers. And in my industry, we can get into racism and how that we're gonna talk about that.
We can talk about it.
But in terms of what we do, there's a lot of, when you say, you know, changing the narrative, people who look like us, right? Changing that. A lot of the people in the entertainment industry in Hollywood, the gatekeepers, or those who make the decisions, do not look like the people, most of the people in this room, right? We are the ones that are in front of the camera, and we're big consumers of this, right? But a lot of us aren't the ones making those decisions to say, we want to do this kind of film, we want to do this kind of TV show, we want to do this kind of reality show, we like to see these types of commercials, and we want to see this kind of marketing and advertising. A lot of times, they're not, we are considered a niche, a corner market, not, mainstream, and we are mainstream. Yeah. So when you're dealing with the practicality, the practical dynamic that the money is not coming in, but you set a lifestyle where there's all this money going out. What about the balance that's coming in? So it's always good to have financial advisors, or at least financial literacy. Oh my goodness, this never happens. I'm sorry.
Now, wait a minute.
No.
You just got a phone. That's a contact right there.
That was my wife.
That's your next play right there. Your next movie.
The wife is wilding right now. I'm gonna put her on blast. I'm gonna call her back. Like, you know what I'm doing. I'm here. But
Check and make sure.
She said, with all these women in here.
Like, I want to make sure. Yes, it is a room full of women, baby. Absolutely. But the passion, what gets you back to that passion when you're dealing with, the fact that, the money is not there. You gotta pay some bills. Those people who are making the decisions aren't caring if you got gas in your car, if your light bill is working, if your insurance is paid. That's not what they're thinking, right? And you're counting on that. So in order to do this, for me, I'm always encouraging those who are getting in the industry, find a way to balance your finances, right? Don't get caught up into the fast life. If you cannot really afford that house right now, don't buy it. You know what I'm saying? Hold tight. Or if you're spending way too much money over here, but you're not bringing anything in, find something to do. It's okay to get a 9 to 5 and try to pursue your dreams when you can, because you ultimately got to take care of yourself. And as an artist, it's really difficult to do both. That really matches. And when we see all these celebrities, all these people who are doing really well, they're literally one in like a million. Because how many people go to Hollywood, how many people go to New York, trying to pursue, now Atlanta, and trying to pursue their careers. And it's really, really hard because everybody's trying to get through that one keyhole. Everybody's trying to go through that same door. And that line is really long that you're standing in. So you gotta find ways to balance all of that out. Unfortunately for me, my parents made sure that I put my money away because I started early, right? So moms and pops made sure that I put my money away and I didn't spend it. I wasn't in the fast life. I wasn't, spending money on all the things to try to impress people who really ain't in my life for real. So a lot of times we get caught up in trying to impress everybody. And my parents made sure, coming from the west side of Chicago, they was like, look, we ain't got it like this. So now that you have it, make sure that you spread it out. And so for me, that was been really important that my mother and father and people around me who really cared about my well-being and my future made sure that I didn't spend my money. And I'm kind of frugal with my money too. I don't spend my money on a whole lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? If it's jewelry, somebody gave it to me. You know what I mean? But no, I just try to make sure that I balance it in a real way. Sorry for taking all that time.
No, it's okay. That was good. That was really great. Dr. Connor, what about you?
I agree with Brother Tate. He said something that was really specific, and he said, "Don't wait, activate." And I think a lot of us, we are waiting for a hookup. Holler if you hear me. We're waiting for somebody to, in many cases, give us an opportunity, and you can't wait for an opportunity. You have to create one. And for many of us, we are trying to balance a job and a dream. Kind of stuck between that whole aspect to where our faith and our finances oftentimes don't see eye to eye. Sometimes it's cross-eyed. And when you move into a place of me, I'm originally an educator. I grew up teaching kids for about 12 years in high school. And I knew that there was something greater for me to do because a job is what you're paid for, but your calling is what you're made for.
Right.
And I was trying to decide, am I going to take the leap? And I had to take a calculated risk. I couldn't be economically impulsive, as Brother Tate was mentioning. You know, you got a budget. You got to not spend money on things you don't need to impress people who you don't even like, much less don't like you.
Say that. Amen.
And understanding that my wealth is not just what I'm wearing, it's how I'm thinking.
Come on.
And so, before I even launched out into the deep to take this walk of faith, I had to take that calculated risk. You know, because the most dangerous place you can be in life is not when you're walking on water, it's when you're staying in a boat. And a lot of us, when you think about who are those who are entrepreneurs, you nursing, but you got little, you know, you working on your clothing, you're working on your tie, you're working on your apparel, all these other specific things. An entrepreneur is like someone who jumps off a cliff and builds a plane on the way down without a parachute. It's a lot of risk and reward, but you don't get the reward until you take the calculated risk.
Right.
And when I'm looking at all of these amazing nurses and leaders that you all are, the frontline workers, you know what I'm saying? And you look at, you all do so much. You're overworked, you're underpaid, underappreciated. And I think all of us are up here to really pour out of what it is that we do and what it is that we have to impress upon you, to recognize that everybody in here is a red box and a gold ball.
That's right.
You are a gift to the world. The tragedy is to be gifted but to never open the package. Some of us have opened the package, but there are a lot of us who haven't used what's in the package. You got to stir up those gifts. You're not just one-dimensional, you're multi-dimensional. You got other opportunities. Nursing may just specifically be an opportunity right now for you to take a promotion, for you to bridge something greater and go bigger, better, and brighter. But you got to look into what those specific gifts are. You got to ask yourself, why was I created? What do I need? What does my generation need that I can serve? How can I create a space in the marketplace? Right? What are my specific gifts? What am I calling? What am I telling? What is it that I am passionate about? What wakes me up in the morning beyond God and my alarm clock? And now that should put you in a place of direction for your purpose and your passion, to where you're not waiting, you're activating. Come on, look at that neighbor, tell them activate. Activate that purpose, activate that gift, activate that anointing, activate that calling, activate that book, activate that line of apparel, activate that merchandise. Go for it.
Is it Pastor Connor? I don't know.
No, it's the understudy of Councilman Tate. That's what it is.
Joshua, did you want to add anything to that?
Ooh, that's a hard act to follow. But one of the things that I didn't realize is I was blessed with a work mama that told me how to make that thing work. When you get your raise, put it in your 401k, don't spend it.
Put you some coins away.
Put your coins aside. Max out your 401k while you're working. When I worked overtime, I think I was telling someone this story, I actually made the news in my town, in the town where I worked, because they said I made the most money as one of the nurses in the jail. So, you know, they called me, I was at the beach. They called me, they said, you made the news. I said, I did, what did I do? All I did was work. But I was integrous in my work. So the sheriff came on television and said she worked every hour. She didn't steal any. One of the things that we have to do is to do things in integrity. If you get paid for the hour, work the hour. I worked every one of them. So that when he got up there, he could say that with all conviction. Be wise with your money. It's nice to look nice. But my daughter told me one time, she was like, Mom, because she buy whatever she wants, she don't care how much it costs. But it's not my pocket. It's hers. But she said to me one time, she said, Mama, you can't get everything for $50. I said, but I can sure try. Why waste money when I can get it when it go on sale? They put it out for $65. 2 weeks later, it's $19.99. Go get it 2 weeks later. That's all you have to do. But I was a single mother, raising a soccer superstar. I didn't pay for undergrad because I paid registration for soccer.
Right.
She kicked the ball for her undergrad education. I sacrificed for that. You have to practice delayed gratification and sacrifice for your children.
That's right.
At 40, she still plays to this day because she loves the game.
Good stuff.
Well, if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna go off script just a little bit because my next question is about your morning, how you start your day, how you get your mind right for the day, your routine. Because I just started reading this book called The Miracle Morning. Are y'all familiar with that?
Yeah, that's good.
Love this book. I'm a few chapters in, and it talks about the power of starting your day with a routine. But I can't have this conversation without Dr. Cheryl P. Williamson because, she's like the master of that. So we want you to come up on stage and contribute to this portion of the conversation. Come on up.
Oh, shock.
Now you can act right now.
Come on.
Come on up. Somebody grab her chair. Okay, you got one? Yeah, here, come sit here. I'll sit on this side. Oh, yeah, you come sit down there. I'll come sit here. Come on.
Every time.
So, Lorenzo, I want to start with you, and both of you.
Sure,
We know there's power in how you start your day.
sure, of course.
And so I'm sure all of you have something that you do routinely. What is it for you?
You want to start?
Sure.
You don't be shy. Let's hear you.
I start my day out every morning when everybody in my house is asleep. Because I need to pour into myself first before I can pour into anyone else. So I get out of my bed, I go up to my office, and I journal every single thing that I want to see happen in my life. I am prosperous, I am a billionaire, I attract wealthy donors to the vision that God has given me. After I do my journaling, then I began, for me, it's about praise and worship. I have to give God the praise for everything that He has given to me, that He woke me up, that He has allowed me the ability to be in a home and all of those things. And you all are going to laugh if you were here this morning. The third thing is I check my accounts.
Okay.
And the reason that I told you all that is because you cannot allow somebody to control your money and tell you what you have, because you'll end up like the gentleman with the $16 million that was missing that didn't know it. I check the accounts because then I know what I can be involved with, what I can say yes to, and what I can say no to. After that, then I determine what I want to accomplish for that day, which I had already set on my Sunday agenda, because it allows me to give myself the opportunity to celebrate because I accomplished something on that list. So I want you to know that it's important for you every day to celebrate you and stop waiting on the world to celebrate you.
Much like what you're saying, I start my day before my family gets up. If I can just have that time, because my wife and my 4 boys, they're amazing, but that self time is important, right? And to get my mind, my body, my spirit, and align with what I feel is the divine creator. So what I typically do is meditate a little bit. You want to call it a prayer. I spend that time meditating and also in prayer. But I also take a moment to continue out my fast every day from a physical standpoint and have myself equally balanced. I then try to do a physical regimen, about 30 to 45 minutes. I don't eat anything until later in the day because I want to feel like I've earned my right to eat. I don't want to just eat for self-gratification. I want to earn. And I eat for fuel, so oftentimes I just fast most of the day. If I can get some literature in, whatever that is. I have several books that I kind of jump from there, all kind of depending on what I'm feeling. If I want to, dive into a autobiography, if I want to have some sort of self-help or something that is inspirational or something that is fact-based, I always try to start that before I get into communicating. And of course, my wife and my kids, they already know that. Oh, Dad he's in his moment, so don't talk to him right away. But I also make sure that each person in my house, I speak to them and I greet them in a way with love and harmony. I always try to make sure that my family knows that I acknowledge them, that I see them, that I appreciate them, that I'm thankful for them. All of my boys, every single day, from 5 to 18, they get hugs, I tell them how important they are. This is gratifying for me to be able to share how I truly feel about my wife and my 4 sons. And so that's what I typically do. And then I'm at the world's beckoning and calling, if you will, as an artist and what I need to do. So once I'm done with all that, the day is great.
Go time. Shabana?
Well, much like Dr. Cheryl and Larenz, I start my day the same exact way. Just really taking that time for myself. One of the things that I'm adamant about is gratitude. Because there was once a time where, like now I'm Shabana Speaks More, right? And I always tell people, I got that name, I literally feel like God gave me that. Because there was once a time Shabana wouldn't speak. Now Shabana speaks more, and there's absolutely nothing anybody can do to shut me up. Because there was once a time where I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel like I was appreciated. I didn't feel that I mattered, right? So it put me in a very depressive and suicidal state. And I remember writing a gratitude book in that moment. And ever since that day, I always said that I was going to remain grateful for all that I have and where God has brought me, because I'm not supposed to be here. The doctor told me at birth that I wasn't going to live. And here I am 41 years later. Come on, somebody. Y'all can do better than that. I just said the doctor told me that I wasn't going to live. So now I get up every single day. I take time for myself. I meditate, I pray, and I just remain grateful. I just really look around my life and see what I can be grateful for. I find things to be grateful for, because there's always something to be grateful for. You may not be where you want to be. You may not be where you feel like you need to be, but there's always something to remain grateful for in every single moment of your day. And then the other thing I do is I celebrate. I celebrate every step of the way, every journey, everything that I accomplish on this journey, big or small, I celebrate it. So those are kind of like my regimens that I do every single day, and I don't let a day go by without doing it.
Johnson.
Amen.
I get up every morning, and the very first thing that I do is I pray. That's number 1. And in that is my gratitude. Number 2 is I read God's word. Amen. You can't possibly know the will and the way of God if you don't know his word. So it's imperative for me to know his word so that I can live better. Because it's about the life for me. As I tell people, I'm closer to the graveyard than I am to Burger Canal, so I need to be intentional.
What a way to put it.
Listen, sir. And
You know black don't crack.
Okay. But I also am a part of a prayer ministry. So I'm on a prayer call, greeting people at 5:10 every morning. And I'm excited about it because it's something when people want to pray every single day. And they show up, and that makes me want to show up. Consistency in whatever your routine is vital. Be consistent. Because consistency in that part of your life rolls over into the rest of your life. So I work hard. I also exercise. Lord help me. That thing is tough. I have a running joke in the gym. If I don't show up, they wonder where I am. Because I told them I'm representing the AARP. Go easy on me. I'm representing the AARP. I can't pick up that 135 pounds. But every time I show up and I do it, that means I can do it again tomorrow. And he can add another plate. And we can keep working this thing. So consistency, if you don't remember anything else that I say, be consistent. This black don't crack because I'm consistent about working out.
I'm taking notes from everybody. Everybody. You know, I wake up in the morning thinking about what can I do to serve? And whether it is an encouraging word, whether it's a smile, whether it is hold the door open for somebody, whether it is really meeting somebody in a place where they may be in a vulnerable moment and you're giving them some words of inspiration, encouragement, moving to a place of a servant leadership type of mindset. And that looks like, for me, beginning my day with worship, word, work, and working out. Yeah, that's my thing. Worship, word, work, and working out. Robin Sharma has a book called The 5 a.m. Club, and he has something called the 90-91 rule. For the next 90 days, that's what I want everybody to do. For the next 90 days, for the first 90 minutes of your day, you may have to get up a little bit earlier. I want you to do the one thing that's going to move the needle forward in your industry, or your calling, or your purpose, or your gifting. What's one thing that you can cultivate to be consistent with it? To develop a place of frequency, the 90-91 rule. For the next 90 days, the first 90 minutes of your day, what's the one thing that you can do for you that's going to also help other people? Right? And so it moves me into that particular place of even affirmation. I say something every day. I was driving to the airport. I'm from Detroit. Y'all say, what up, though? What up, come on, what up, though? What up, though? I was driving to Detroit. I'm getting ready to leave Detroit, head here, and I was just, meditating, thinking about the people I was going to meet. And I was just saying to myself, I am in the right place at the right time. Yes. Doing the right thing, meeting the right people, making the right connections. Favor follows me and guides my footsteps. Yes. You see what I'm saying? And so now you put yourself into that particular place and prism to now be metacognitive. I'm thinking about what I'm thinking about. Who can I serve? How can I help? Who can I connect with? How can I show up? Because it's not about me, it's about we. It's not about I, it's about us.
Right.
And so getting to that particular place to be able to serve, to be able to help, and to be able to produce and actually live out the mandate of God's calling on your life, and that is showing up in people's life.
Amen.
One thing we know for sure is that none of you got here without making sacrifices, right? We know to pursue anything, everybody can't go, every behavior can't continue, something has to be left behind in order for you to get to that next level or wherever God is calling you. So what are the sacrifices you all had to make in pursuing your purpose?
I'll jump right in. For me, early on, being in an industry where I was so young, around a bunch of grown folks, experiencing a lot of things that, being around things that someone as an adolescent should be exposed to. Fortunately, I had my brothers always behind me, supporting me. And one of the main sacrifices was making sure that I didn't get caught up in all of the pitfalls that a lot of people in my industry get caught up in, whether it's the fast life, it's the, partying, and, there's a lot of substances that are always presented, is always readily available. Fortunately, I was able to avoid a lot of those things and stay away. And really finding the kinds of people that I felt were more of an asset as opposed to a liability.
Right.
What I mean? Sometimes we don't realize that we have people who are more of liabilities, right? That won't allow you to excel or to meet, all the requirements that that you have to live the fruitful life and to be the best version of yourself. So that sacrifice of making sure that I can distinguish who's really around me for all the right reasons and who are there for the wrong reasons, and avoiding as many pitfalls as I possibly can, and living a life with integrity. As you made mention, integrity is super important, and I think sometimes it's underrated, and I think we need to continue to put that back in the fold of our lives and being accountable for that, you know what I mean? And accountability. So for me, it was just really just making sure that I was around the right people, making the right decisions, and wanting to be around for a long time. I saw a lot of people fall short, and that was something I didn't want to do.
I actually put my dreams on hold because I realized that both my husband and I could not be pursuing at the same time. So I made a conscious decision that I would sit back a little bit, raise our children, because I know that God wants me to place productive citizens out into the world. So in order for my children to live the lives that they live now, I had to say, okay, Cheryl, I need you to be comfortable doing this thing right now, putting these great citizens out in the world. But I also knew that if I could get my husband or help him get to where he wanted to be in his career, then I knew that the house
Yes, I love
that
it.
the house and that peace, and I always kind of laugh because I was like the Amanda, I think it's Amanda Priestley from The Devil Wears Prada. And so for my husband, in order for him to be in certain rooms, I studied, and keep this in mind, study rooms, study people, know what rooms you're coming into. Don't just go to conferences and I'm gonna meet everybody. You need to pick a specific person, learn enough about that person where you stand out. But where I was gonna tell you was when he didn't know who it was, I said, oh, that's Robert Smith's wife. She stays home, she does blah, blah, blah. And he would say, hi, this is so-and-so. If it was a girlfriend or whatever, I studied the people. So I knew that my husband could excel in where he was because he had a wife who was a marriage.
She's the queen on that chessboard. Most powerful piece on the board is that queen. And she moving to make sure the king is right. I love
That
it.
brother became a VP at a top 5 pharmaceutical company.
Love that.
Now listen, I got questions and I want you guys to answer them, but because we are on time, I want to stay on time. I want to give you all the opportunity to ask your questions to the panelists, okay? So Kim is going to come and present a mic to you. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Anybody have questions? Now I can keep going, but I just want to give you guys, okay, yeah.
But you gotta tell us your name and where you're from.
I like that.
This is a family gathering right now.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Gordon, and I reside in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm here with Travius Keandra, who's the speaker tomorrow. He's a nurse, and he's a rapper and an actor. And my question for you, Larenz, would you be open to doing some skits in Atlanta, in the nursing realm, but acting?
So are you talking about like skits that are on social media skits, or they're like actual movie like?
Both.
Well, probably I would lean towards something that is actually, scripted and written.
Yes. Skits that are written.
Yeah.
So when I say that, it's more of it's a skits, but also it's like movie type television.
I'll tell you what appealed to me. Something in the medical space would definitely appeal to me. Me playing a physician or a doctor.
Dr. Tate. Dr. Tate sounds great.
Dr. Tate coming to the building. And so, you know what I'm saying? I've seen Grey's Anatomy and all these other shows, House and all these other shows. Call me up so I can go ahead and put on my little, put on my white coat and come in there and check on y'all to see how everything is going. So that would definitely appeal to me. Yes, something like that. Yes.
Hello, everybody. I'm TK Curtis, nurse TK from Columbia, South Carolina. My question to the panel, any of you can answer this, but I'd like to know what's one thing that you may have passed up on in your career that in hindsight you think may have been either helpful to you or you were grateful that you passed up on that opportunity because it catapulted you into something else?
I mean, for me, there's a lot of things that I said no to. A lot of projects that just didn't make a lot of sense. I didn't want to be, stuck in one kind of genre of movies and do one kind of thing, right? So for me, passing up movies or roles that I've done already, time and time again, some people have that specialty, like that's all they do, and it's great. But for me, I just felt like I was multifaceted and I could do different kinds of things. And so a lot of things that I passed up just felt like I would do them over and over again. And it has allowed me to be in a position where people still want to see me do something different. Like play a doctor, play a lawyer. I hadn't played a politician before. And so these are the kind of things that I'm grateful. It was more about the things that I said no to than the things I said yes to.
Good.
I wanna know why you don't wanna be the nurse.
That's what I'm saying.
Let me bring it back. Hold up. I
Giving white coat energy now.
When I said, you called me Nurse Tate up in here, it's fine.
You can be a doctor.
No, you're right. It's the 100%. No, and they're not offend nobody in this space. One of the things about that in terms of that, no, you're right. And that's one of those things that I fall short on because I need to know more about what that space is, right? And so that's why I was telling my brother when this opportunity came up, I was like, I want to be there because these are opportunities that I don't get a chance to do. So to your point, absolutely. I'm Nurse Tate right now. I don't want to hear nothing else other than Nurse Tate. For the remainder of this thing, the time that I'm here after, until it becomes something that is made into reality and fruition that y'all see me doing a TV show.
There you go.
Let's do it.
Somebody give him some scrubs, please.
Somebody call Grey's Anatomy.
I'm into it.
I will say that Nurse Tate is an upgrade from Councilman Tate.
I'm not mad at that.
My name is Katie Duke. I'm from New York. My question for the panel is, what character trait did you earn from your biggest challenge? Get a little insightful with it.
I'll say accountability for me. And I say that because I lived my life, unfortunately, with given the background that I grew up in, pointing the finger, right, at other people. So what I started to realize as I got older and I got on this personal development journey was that a lot of the things that I was attracting into my human experience, it was because of me. It was because of behaviors that I had, decisions that I made, and I couldn't blame nobody but myself. So I think that was one of the biggest things that I learned about myself on this journey was anytime anything happens in my life, I always look back at myself and say, okay, how could I have avoided that? What did I do to attract that into my experience? And then I just go from there. And it's always an opportunity to evolve and to grow. So for me, that was really a challenge and a blessing at the same time.
For me, that's wonderful. For me, I would say, almost back on what you were saying, just always willing to learn. I'm still a student of life.
Right.
I have this thirst to just like learn and want to know more. So that was one of the, I think, character traits along my journey. It's just like, I don't know everything, and there's so much that I have experienced and I've learned, but there's so much that I don't know. And I'm interested in learning. And when you talk about accountability, when you don't know something, it's okay to say, I don't know this, I don't understand it. I'd like to know a little bit more about it so I can attain that information and that knowledge. And it only builds on to the person that I am. So that character trait of just the knowledge and the thirst and just being a student of life. Curiosity.
That's so
yeah,
good.
absolutely, curiosity.
I learned humility because I was doing a stage play and a person told me, he said, I don't think this is a person that you should be doing business with. But I was so gun-ho about, I'm gonna make this happen, this is my dream, and I didn't listen. And so I lost a lot of money. And so I had to go back to the gentleman that told me, you should not partner with them, and say to him, Mr. King, thank you so much for telling me that. And I apologize for my arrogance. Because that's what it was. It was like, he can't tell me anything. I know what I'm doing. I really didn't. But that is what I truly, that humility, and I think many of us, when we rise to certain places and we can do certain things, and we think everybody should be bowing down to us because we walk into a room. Don't ever lose that humility, because the same people that you see going up, I promise you, those will be the same people you see coming down. And when you come down, many of those people will come to you and say, can I help you? Can I serve you? Because they see that you are learning humility.
That's so good. That's good. That's good.
I'll say, for me, it was scarcity mindset.
Come on.
Yeah, and I think what we have to do for us to get to the next level is because they mentioned, BBC News mentions by 2030, 100 million jobs in America will be replaced by AI. And I think we have to be innovative thinkers. It is Oliver Wendell Holmes who said, a mind stretched by new ideas never returns to its original dimension.
Correct.
And so getting out of the whole aspect of emotional snipers, dealing with things that in many cases have vanquished our thoughts and our opinions and our dreams, and being an innovative thinker. What can I do to innovate? What can I do to be a trendsetter and not a follower, but a producer and not just a purchaser? A creator and not just a consumer? How can I move the needle forward in my industry and rethink and reimagine and evolve? Because at the end of the day, if we don't evolve, we won't be involved.
For me, it was just learning, don't say that here. This is not the place to say that. Swallow, count to 5. Now say that. Be mindful of what you say and who you say it to. And also be aware that everybody that claps for you is really not for you.
Then clapping here is for you. In this room, in a safe space, all genuine clapping. 100%.
So Dr. Connor talked about innovative, and I just want to say I want to applaud Tammy, because this is an innovative.
Yes,
And she does it. I've known her for a long time, but you know, where there's a queen, there's a matriarch. So we have her matriarch here, her mother.
Wow.
Who's going to ask the last question, and I call her mother, so it's hard to. So this is Tammy's mother. So this is the matriarch.
Thank you. Everybody calls me mother. And I am so here today for Larenz Tate, EddieConnorJr.
Nurse Larenz Tate to you, mother.
I want to thank everybody for being here today. We could not do this without any of you guys. Trust me on this one here. And thank you for the shout out up there. I forgot who you were. I didn't even hear.
Dr. EddieConnorJr, yes.
But I love your jacket. I got to tell you that right there.
Appreciate it. Love you, mama.
But listen, the thing that I wanted to ask is, like, when everybody set out on their own to do whatever they want to do, did you have support? I mean, did your parents and siblings and everybody like that, did they support you, or did you have to go out on your own and just start doing what you wanted to do?
For me, I wish
Family, I would spoke to that, but go ahead.
I would say for me, it was my mom. It was my mom. You know, a praying mother who was there for me because I was at my lowest low. You know, a lot of people were praying for me, or I thought were praying for me, were literally praying on me. Didn't think I was going to amount to anything. My own father not being in my life, and you know, how do you play a role if you weren't given a script? How do you become a man if you didn't see one, much less interact with one? And so when you see an innovator and creator, an industry leader like Larenz Tate, who is still present, doing all the great things that he's doing, but still a present father. You know, come on, give it up. Black fathers are still present. And that's what I desire, that type of mentorship, that type of leadership. I don't expect you to be perfect, but can you be present? Yes. And so her being a present force and figure in my life really gave me just that wherewithal and that onus to say, if one is a majority, if she can believe in me, I can believe in myself, and I can go ahead and make it happen.
Want to get something? I did not have a lot of support from my family. I didn't grow up where entrepreneurship was even a topic around the dinner table. So for me, it was just a matter of seeing something and having a drive and a resilience to go for it, you know, because I was determined to not be who society said I was going to be. So I set out, like I think Dr. Sherrill mentioned earlier on the panel, of mentorship. I started to look at successful people and see what they were doing, and I started to implement those things. And then I reached out and got me a mentor, and the rest was history. I mean, obviously there was more, you know, on the journey, but that for me was my biggest piece, because all I needed to do was see it. You got to see it before you see it, right? So I just saw a glimpse of what was possible, and I was like, oh, I like that lifestyle. I can do that. You know what I'm saying? And I did it. So that's how my journey went.
For me, I've always managed to curate a community. Because I was a single parent and I was an only child, I didn't have a lot of family. My family was really, really small and very limited, but I was able to curate a community, especially while raising my daughter. I said that I worked in the jail. I had officers in the jail that literally, deputies off the road, whatever, they showed up at the dances that my daughter was at. When I couldn't be there, when I had to work. You know, she would come home, she'd say, Mom, such and such showed up at the dance. And I said, did you have a problem with that? I said, you gotta remember, Big Brother is always watching. So I curated a community. They helped me. I had an officer that became a great friend, that when I had to work the night shift, he spent the night at my house. And he got my daughter ready for school in the morning. That was when you could trust people now.
Yeah.
I don't want y'all to try that now. It's a little bit different climate now. You gotta be very, very careful. But I curated a community. And even as an adult, I curated my community. So what happened is you weed out the people that don't belong, the people that say you can't, the people that say, I don't know why you're doing that. Well, that doesn't make sense and I don't understand. Well, you don't understand at your house. I got somebody over here that does understand, and she's gonna support me no matter what. That's the importance of curating your own community. And we don't learn that early enough. We just kind of let people hang out with us. And they're sabotaging us when we're not looking.
That's it.
Do you want to wrap us up, Dr. Sherrill?
I was gonna answer the question. I can honestly say that I have been blessed. I'm a third generation entrepreneur. I watched my father take his high school education working in a drugstore and go from building houses to building hospitals and courthouses. What I learned from that is it does not matter where you start, it's where you finish. So they've always supported my dreams, whether it seemed impossible to everybody else. He taught me I don't have to, both my father and mother taught me that I don't have to have the world to support me. As I told you all this morning, validation, it truly is for parking, it's not for people. And so when you live through that lens that I don't need to check with you about a dream, that is the life-changing thing. And my parents taught me that from a very young child, that you don't need the world to clap and salute you and applaud you. And I hope that that will be your marching order today from what you've learned from us, is that you don't have to check with people, and especially people that's not writing a check.
Come on.
Come
on.
That's what gets me. I mean, it's a room of us in here that are always calling people saying, well, what do you think? What do you think I should do? Those are not the people that's probably even gonna write a check or invest in your dream or cheer you on. So you've got to surround yourself with people like this on the stage who are dreamers, doers, thinkers, believers, people who will set up a table and pull your seat up there and remove theirs because they want to have you shine. That's what I see here, and I thank you for this opportunity. And I have to say this in front of everybody. If you ever doubt the power of God, you just saw it happen. Because I just was sitting there willing to come in as a participant, and I don't know what moved and made this happen, but I'm thankful. I'm thankful because I wasn't supposed to be on the stage, you know that. But I want to tell you how important it is to, what, as I said earlier, be ready and stop getting ready. See, I didn't have to get ready.
Give them make room for you.
I'm now moved to tears. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. passion right. Y'all get ready for what God is getting ready to do in your life. It is on purpose that you are in this room, that you are sitting at the table that with the people that you're sitting with, that you're hearing from them, from the inspiring folks that Tammy has hand-selected for you to hear from this weekend. Take advantage of this moment. I have chill bumps right now because this is real. This is your life. This is your destiny. Don't take it for granted. Don't waste time. You don't know how much time you have. Be present. Be in purpose. Be intentional. And love and support each other along the way. That's all we got. All right? Can we give a round of applause? They not like us.
They not
like us. They're not like us. Kindly allow photographers and media in the room to approach the stage for pictures.